CAF Champions League. I was about to say UEFA Champions League. In the CAF Champions League, after losing into the hands of the Jwaneng Galaxy of Botswana by 2-1 in the reverse fixture, and in aggregate it ended by 3-2. What about the FIASA, Federation of East African Secondary School Sports Association? It came to an end yesterday. It has been 10 days tournament, and our schools from Uganda, they have been performing extremely well, and we have won in total 37 medals. We'll also be doing discussion about that one, and a very big story coming from that side of North Macedonia as our own side. That's Safik Kajimu on his debut for the team. That's Rabonik. He also scored one of the goals. Unfortunately, they lost that game in the hands of Dasi Skende. 2 goals were scored in the extra minute, a dramatic encounter there. But the biggest talking point here is all about on his debut scoring a goal. We'll also be talking about that one. And also locally here, why we are seeing Ethiopia, of course, in the studios with me, is all about the return of Twambe Cooperative League, and we'll also be talking about the updates coming from Western Province, because he is the public related officer, in fact the media officer for the team of Western Province. We'll also be giving highlights of what is transpiring at the camp of Western Province. What about the cancer run? Yesterday we also had cancer run. He also been person to give you updates on how things went in the cancer run, not forgetting about the updates coming from the part of media team. Of course, on Saturday, media team traveled that side of Yumbe district. They had an engagement up against the media team of Yumbe district, and I can confirm to you by giving the scoreline, it ended by 2-0. It was Arua City media team that edged out Yumbe media team. We will be discussing those stories, plus the other stories I talked of. We saw Bayern Munich edging out Augsburg by 3-1 in a dramatic encounter in Spanish Primera Division, where we saw a 4th win for the team of Barcelona. What about in Italian Serie A? Still AC Milan performing very well. Varaskelia, the likes of Victor Osimhen, Di Lorenzo, they are combining very well for the team of Napoli. And also a very big news for the fans of Juventus, as we have seen the return of Paul Pogba after only playing 161 minutes last season in Italian Serie A, and Kylian Mbappe has started scoring goals for the team of Paris Saint-Germain. We'll be discussing all the leagues. As I said, we always start from what is happening within the region as within the country before we take a look at what is transpiring in international sports. Like I said earlier on, I'm not alone in the studio. I have got a special guest with whom we'll be discussing a lot of stories. That's Toko Badru. Good afternoon, Toko Badru.
Good afternoon to you. It feels good to be on West Nile TV, but of course, importantly, this has been a very, very big journey, especially for those who are able to go and participate in the cancer run. Before we discuss it, I'm a journalist, and I'm attached to Arua Media. Yesterday, but one, that was on Saturday, the team traveled to Yumbe and played Yumbe Media, and game that ended 2-0. The coach of the team, Owen Izaga, Lavdi, perhaps kept his a good record of winning games, and perhaps this means the Yumbe team will have to be tempted into accepting in a return leg that will be in Arua, and then of course the circumstances that contributed to the success of the Arua Media team. I could say that teamwork was key to excellent training that the team undertook, and of course you'd also talk about the fact that the team actually did have a number of build-up games before they played this crucial game. I played against the Forces team, a game that they won by about 3 goals. A game they played against the Hawker team that ended in a 1-all draw. And then I was told that there's a build-up game that is coming between the Arua Media team and Morning University.
Yes.
So those are actually good ventures. And talking about the students, you'd actually look at the fact that they actually have been eagerly waiting for an opportunity like this, especially the Guild team. Speaking the cancer run yesterday, the coverage was exclusive on this TV. West Nile TV want to thank you very much on behalf of the entire team that organized the cancer run, and that the coverage was quite massive. And in the cancer run, we actually got hundreds of people. I should say about 1,000 people actually or more aboard the kits. But then the participants that came around probably could have witnessed one of the best events that we have in here. It all started with some aerobics. After the aerobics, there was a 21 kilometer category, there was 10 kilometer category, there was 5 kilometer category, there was 2 kilometer category, and so the run was good. Let's go to the results of the participants. They probably got the day better. We'll talk about the 2 kilometer run. In the girls section, Amen Sewi was a champion. The second place was a person called Sifra Baria. The third place went to Fetaru Daisy, and so these are the persons who were exceptional in the run. Well, the boys category, Opini Rahambo was the champion in 2 kilometer run, and then Elton Jordan was second. Third was Usuta Rodney. Well, in 5 kilometer run, we had Amanio Yunis, the champion. Second place went to Robin Aisaburu. The third place went to Eyoru Jane. Well, in the 5 kilometer run in boys category, we had Atubu Johnson, a champion. Second place to Anyole Xavier. The third place went to Stephen Emmanuel. Well, in the 10 kilometer run, the number one was probably a journalist with radio patches, that is Achiro Chan Flavia. Number 2 was Toha Sumaya. Number 3 is Bako Sandra. Well, in the boys category, the men's category, Adrigo Stephen was the champion in 10 kilometer run. Charles Angelos was number 2. Number 3 was Brian Buti. Now, in the other run, that is the 21 kilometer, we also did have runners that probably did winning big, with Asuman Ronald as the champion. The second place was Drileba Renaud. Third place went to Khalid Safi. Well, in the girls category, only one person participated, and that is Asianju Consulate, and she was the champion, and of course she didn't have a runner-up or probably second runner-up. Well, the oldest person that ran in there went for 10 kilometer run, that is Muzee Asuman Ali Jaraman. He's 76 years old, and of course completed the 10 kilometer run successfully. Well, in the girls ladies category, I should say there was an elderly person about 53 years, and that is Martin Foxling. Did participate, and she is 53 years old. With young runners, one was Aita Daniel, who probably is the son to the director SBG, ran in the 10 kilometer run, completed successfully. Tiperu Nusra is 10 years. The other one I mentioned earlier is about 8 years, and so that means a lot. They completed successfully. So the cancer run was probably a very big talking point, and of course the fact that the support was massive from West Nile, from the entire team, I think that was good. Water was quite enough. The guys are from Crystal Mineral Water probably as partners gave a lot of water. Centenary Bank contributed a lot of money. They actually the official bank. The Parliament of Uganda that was represented by Honorable Adriko Yovan gave a big support. The Rotarians were actually in there from the Eco City, from Marua Rotary Club, from the Lions Club, the Rotary Club of Yumbe. This was massive. The RDC of Madiokolo Toko Swaib presided over it as the chief runner. We did have the other politicians, Honorable Sino Rashid. This was huge. I also want to thank everyone who participated in this for making it a success. The likes of Lydian, the likes of Saron, thank you very much. There are about 50 kits that they were actually left in there, so these kits are available. If you want a kit to support this, you can go to MOOPS and get it right in there. Let me switch away to
before we go for another story, how was the appreciation part of it? How did it go?
Well, when it comes to the appreciation, I think teams were given, first of all the participants, especially the organizations, the companies, got themselves a certification, including West Nile TV. Two, the teams were, the participants were actually given some appreciations, not financial, but I think something document related or probably medals, something very obvious. But the fact that the run happened and the fact that everyone who probably participated in the run reached their homes successfully, I think the run was a success. It was a 12th edition, and I think the message was clear that people should actually be able to stop stigmatization. They should actually look at those who are patients of cancer as part of the community. It's not always very proper for you to subject them to issues of kind of abuse and stuff like that. So basically, we need to support them. And if you think you're not doing well, try something out. Like we had free services from Oak Diagnostic Center, and cancer is real. For men, it takes you up to 40 years to have the cervical cancer, kind of checkup. But then for women, you can start it as early as now. So there was also a literal advice given that women need to be close to men so they can be able to probably to be able to discover whether they are fine or probably they have challenges in there. But I can tell you it was a success because people in Arua probably always come in numbers. We did have a run in Paida, that is in Zombo. We had a run in Koboko. So in the near future, Jumani will run, Yumbe will run, Moyo will run, Madiokolo will run. So I think we'll be subjecting this to the entire West Nile. For those who participated, we say thank you.
Okay, away from that story, I said we will be handling so many stories with Toko Badru. We have already handled 2 stories. Kansaran, we have talked about it. The game media team of Arua City played with the media team of Yumbe District. We have already looked at that one. Let's shift our attention away from Kansaran. We talk about the Tuambe Cooperative League, and you are here. Give something for the viewers about it.
Well, when you talk about the Kansaran, you definitely know what it takes. I'm not talking about Kansaran. It's not about the Tuambe Cooperative League.
Exactly.
I have too much interest in the Kansaran. Well, the Tuambe Corporate League, probably the second edition comes your way. In the first edition, West Nile TV managed to score nice goals, beautiful goals, and the likes of Opak, the likes of Lavdi, you know, the entire team, I think, did a good job. As also looking at Saj as a goalkeeper, as a midfielder, it was huge, even the Christians, but this year's edition probably will be much better, especially this edition we talk about in here, the fact that we'll actually be able to see more corporates come on board, and because we could see merger, because I was told UNSR is trying to have one team. They don't want to have the Yumbe team alone, Arua team alone, so they are trying to go intensive and try and make sure this works out. But now the point here is that today there is already a meeting that is undergoing, that's as we speak. The management is having a meeting, in which meeting they will come up with some resolutions, but registration is still underway up to about 31st. It could as well be extended, and so make sure you make sure you register. You register your team at 600,000 Uganda cedis. The difference is that when this year we play, or this time we play, we'll be probably looking at a common course. If West Nile TV thinks this year we should do a zebra crossing thing, the entire team will go and do the zebra crossing thing. If they think we should go to the hospital and visit the sick, we should do the visiting of the sick. Now, last year there was the last edition had the bull. The idea of the bull, I think, ceases. It won't be anymore. We are corporates, we are giving out. Even personally, I have my money, you have your money. Everyone has the money. So why would we be looking at the bull and we subject ourselves to too much kickings? So as management of the Tuambe Health Club and Tuambe Corporate League, we thought it is wise for us to go into this thinking very well. I mean, taking it into an account that when we play this particular game, we are giving back to the community. We encourage people to be donating blood, because there will be blood donation. There will be free HIV testing, counseling, and probably, you know, some motivational speakers will come on board and tell people about businesses. We're trying to use this to coordinate and connect people. We know how important it is, and of course we know how this probably could be working out for our members in there. When I spoke to one of the institutions that I think will participate, that is Bamboo. Bamboo, I spoke to Joseph Chiobe. He said, Jose actually, many people call him that way. He said, you see, there's a gap between the current generation and the other generation. And that's the reason you see when sometimes we come into corporate games, the way we put ourselves, we kind of subject ourselves, the way we do things probably contributes big. So that also tells you that if you're a young person, you're out there and you think you want to learn from the elders, you want to learn from those who have the expertise, and I think this works out. Just like you'd want to see some orientation, something happen. We've seen in schools, there's orientation for the freshers. You say, talk about the freshers ball, where you have the freshers come and play. You do have other people come probably support, and so this is just for people to enjoy. Now this year's, the second edition of the Corporate League is going to be quite different. It's going to be something that everyone will get to enjoy. But lastly, for those who want to participate in this, it is very important for you to sensitize your people out there to understand why you're participating in a corporate league, because it is not just about you coming in to kick the balls. It is about what you put on table. How do you behave? How do you conduct yourself? Because I was told that there is lots coming from, in terms of actually banks registering, corporate bodies, UNRWA, the likes of URA, you talk about Arua City Council Authority, the media houses, you talk about West Nile TV and others. I mean, this will be huge. Now, so Tuambe Corporate League meeting is today, management, and then there will be a meeting for everyone, probably a general meeting, and after the general meeting we'll be able to have the draws, and after the draws the games will be starting. But there's an idea of the winner, and that is Big Time Computer Empire probably playing a curtain raising game as told with MOOPS. And if there's any change, I will let you know. Thank you. Now,
we understand that the deadline for registration is on 31st of this particular month. And when will the games kickstart, and how long will this tournament be?
Well, about the games, games are kick-starting on the 16th of next month. Today is the 28th. We're left with 3 days to finalize this month. And then when you add about 15 days to that, that is about 18 days. So we have 18 days before we kick the ball. But then before we kick the ball, we should also understand that this is not going to be the shorter version. We did have about 4 weeks of action the other time, 4 or 5. But this time around, we are going to have over 2 months, about 2 months of action. So that means we'll probably be relaxing some weekends and have more fun. And then we also trying to make sure that the games are played at convenience of the institutions. We do not want to subject the institutions into playing games when actually they have some things, especially the banks. The banks playing on Saturdays will be a little tricky for them, unless if they are playing late in the evening. But as Tuambe, there is also a way that the institution is trying to look at how do we balance work and probably they play in there, because it's a fitness club. It gives you opportunity to club as well every Monday to Friday. I mean every Monday to Monday between 6 to about 7 to exercise, do aerobics. So we'll do a general aerobics. We'll make sure the guys are busy. I mean ready. We'll make sure the teams are given opportunity to train in there, much as they will train at a cost. I think this is fundamental, and we just try to make sure things work out. There are also some changes that are happening at the institution. We'll also let the public know. Very importantly, good enough, we are in a huge partnership with West Nile TV. So the particular TV that you're following right now will be able to give you the information quite intensively in the different bulletins in here. Thank you.
Yes, away from that, before we get into national stories, there is something you might be, maybe there is something you might be having in the bag for the fans of West Nile Province. You can highlight them with what is transpiring at the camp of West Nile Province. Well,
we came back as an institution. We came back on Thursday last week. After playing a friendly match with the Maria Ologo team, who played a 1-1 draw, and Jovu Kusevia inflicted pain in us, and Jumani Gaddafi Wahab came in and scored the equalizer, attended 1-1. A big game, a game with high magnitude. Over 2,000 people probably attended to this game. That means the Busoga must fall campaign continues. Busoga Kedera, and now somebody is saying Busoga Kelera Keleko. Kiadera, it's a Madi word, meaning they will fall by force or by all means. Yeah. Now, we are waiting for an official communication from Federation of Uganda Football Associations. It's not in my culture that I gossip. There could be a possibility that Federation of Uganda Football Associations would communicate within this particular week to see how we'll probably play this game. But I can only confirm to you that the last communication we had was the postponement of the game, and that our next trip that would be on Kada, if not changed, would be the game on 10th against Bugisu Province. It will be an away game. Now, in case of any change, we'll notify you. But the boys are fine. They've gone back to their clubs. They're doing pretty well. And of course, about the province, there's much more. There is a possibility of the province as well getting to crack some deals. Remember, West Nile as a region has a deal with West Nile TV, a very big deal that gives exclusive coverage. We're also trying to see how we can have, like, for example, if we have friendly matches, like we played Madia Ologo, how can we have such games on TV so that everyone probably could be getting to enjoy them, because the Madiland is very special. Now, we're also trying to see how we can give back to the community. Like we're speaking right now, our jazzers are selling at Asil petrol station, and they're also in Ajumani. For those who are in Ajumani, our jazzers are selling at Stranded Office. Those in Legu, there's a gentleman called that who is selling them. In Koboko, they're selling at Total Petrol Station and Spirit FM. So basically, grab yourself West Nile kit and be able to have some spice, and that's very important. Lastly, I spoke about the freshers kind of challenge. Bamboo as an institution is trying to make sure that games like pool, Ludo, games like Scrabble, those indoor games are probably in high gear, and so the freshers will have an activity of that nature on the 9th of September, and of course in that they actually will be able to exercise and probably mingle up with some of the big boys and the big girls, and of course that would be better. Seeing yourself sit next to an RCC, RDC, sit next to a TOK, a Benson, I think that would be a spiced up thing. So we don't want these things of like somebody goes to school and comes out when the person is very raw. We're trying to make sure people are polished and people are spiced up. As an institution, that then works out. Basically, I think those are some of the updates I have. Though I would confirm that right now as we speak, the entire East Africa is in Arua. There is MDD, because in sports there's music and there's dance and drama. Truly. The difference between the institutions that come from Kampala, from within Uganda, and some that probably come from Kenya and other countries, is that here you'd see a certain school fairing guys using an open roof, but then for them they were using buses. They were well received, and I think our schools have to learn. They don't just save the monies to build houses, also make sure you have nice buses. I'm proud. I studied in Nyangilia. Nyangilia has a very beautiful bus. I'm not publishing them, but I just want to make sure that you out there who has a school, you do something better. Because I think subjecting our own to illnesses or some accidents is not a pretty good thing. And it's an advice from me for free. For those who probably have schools, it's very important for you to buy a bus, buy a drone, and make sure the students or the pupils are probably well catered for. Otherwise, the whole of us in Arua city, we are hosting East Africa, we are hosting Africa, we're hosting the world, and so how we behave certainly is what they're interested in, because we're celebrating our ancestry in diversity.
Yeah, away from that, we have already discussed Kansaran. We have talked about the Twambe Cooperative League, which is at the verge of coming back. We have talked about, in fact, we have given highlights on how things are transpiring at the Kembo West Nile Province. We have talked about the MDD that's hosted by Arua City. This time, before we go for the first half break, we need to look at two stories. Let's start at the Camp of Calvary, as they have already confirmed the signature of Dickens Okwi, the former attacker for the team of Sports Club Vipers. He has played for a number of clubs recently. He has been playing for the team of Blacks Power in the Star Times Uganda Premier League after the club was relegated from the top tier of Ugandan football. We have seen him making a decision to see that he joins Calvary. We saw so many offers coming on table for him, but he decided to join Dasi Calvary. He has also played for teams like UPDF. What will this guy offer for the team of Calvary?
Well, I personally know Dickens Okwi as an aggressive player who likes to score goals. He had a very bright kind of career. He played for Paida Black Angels, like you mentioned, played for Bright Stars, Amuka Bright Stars. He actually did play for Nuparaka Football Club and played for Bukedia, that is currently the Blacks Power. Now he's coming to Calvary to add, to add to the strikers that probably have been in there. I think his contributions for the team are going to be very, very important. Now I'm also looking at what he brings on card. 1, goals. 2, he is a guy who plays possessive football. He loves to have the ball, have a command. And I think that will be able to help the Calvary Football Club in their guests to get back to get to play in the Star Times Uganda Premier League. I think a good one. Well, as this is happening, also down at Black Power, the Black Power team is taking advantage of Arua Football Club. They are almost selling deals, signing in Musa Mali Paul, and also signing in Maduka Innocent Oga. And I think they're trying to let a player go. They have actually let a player go, but then they are signing 2 players to replace him as something very good in there. This is how the business is. Remember last year, Chitara Football Club was smart in the business, and it worked for them. What about if Calvary gets smart? What about if Blacks Power gets smart? We'll probably be seeing these schemes even on Nuparaka Football Club in case they sign good players, in case they maintain the momentum, and of course that will also be good. So for me, I think basically this is transfer window, and so anything happens. I would not be shocked if a Ugandan club shows interest in Lionel Messi, ends up signing maybe a Carbon Living.
Let's finalize the first half of the show with what is transpiring in the Federation of East African Secondary School Sports Association, which came to climax yesterday, and we have seen our Ugandan schools performing extremely well as they have gone on to win 37 medals. They have won around 17 gold medals, winning 11 bronze medals, plus the other ones coming from the other one is silver medals. And the people's interest is all about how football went. And the school in the names of St. Mary's Tende, of course, edging out the school, that's Amusi College in the penal shootout after the normal time had ended in a 1-all tie, winning the game by 4 goals to 2. Meanwhile, in the third playoffs, we saw the team that's Chibuli running riot over the school, that's St. Henry Chutovu, beating them by 2 goals to 1. Looking at how the semi-finals went, we saw the school, that's St. Mary's Tende, edging out St. Henry Chutovu. Meanwhile, for Chibuli SCS, they were beaten by the school, that's Amusi. Now that we have dominated, and the breaking story here, which we cannot also leave out for the viewers, is that next year it will be Uganda hosting that's Fiasa. How good is this one? Ugandan schools dominating, not only winning the medals in football, and we saw so many sporting activities. The table tennis was there, handballs was there, you talk about athletics, so many which I cannot mention all at the end, coming with 37 medals, being followed keenly by Kenya that won 23 medals. How happy are you about it before we go for the first break?
When you talk about the St. Mary Chitende project, it's a very big project, a project that many probably do know about. And I think if you talk about Mulindwa, perhaps the investment he has put in place, I think that in itself speaks volumes. But I think there is a tremendous job that is done by Amus College, not just in football for boys or men. There is also football for girls that are doing good in. Back in Uganda, when they were playing the Uganda Secondary School Sports Association games, the two schools as well met. Now, the fact that four of the schools actually that made semi-finals all come from Uganda, you'd actually think this would be huge. It is not the first time. We did see Chibuli do the same thing. We've seen schools like Budu at one point probably go and represent well. And I think this is a kind of good gesture. For us in Arua, or West Nile, I think the only time we saw a school go that far was Vareses in 2000s. You know, perhaps when the Onyas, the Sizo Kutis, the Ezra Madiras were actually in that particular, the Adrico Rogers, in that particular team. So this actually sends a big statement. So I would definitely say that it's good to see Uganda dominate even win in the other sections, but I think our emphasis has been too much in football. The number of other co-curricular activities that we'll be able to get is much more. I am not shocked, but very proud of Amus College that finished second, and congratulations to St. Mary Chitende.
Yeah, last season it was Chibuli that won the competition, of course, going to represent our region and also our country in the international sports games, and they did not perform very well, which means next year it will be St. Mary Chitende going for it. And the record champions we can also leave out for you is St. Mary Chitende, because they have gone on to win the competition more than any other school. Meanwhile, last year it was Noah Zah that won it, but this time it has gone into the hands of Amus College. With that, we have come to the end of the first half of the show.